When you think of modern day warfare and its lethal potential, as His Holiness referred to, and it was music to my ears to hear it as a leader, because no other leaders are talking about nuclear proliferation. No leaders of any country that I know of are actually speaking about, the nuclear arms race, how it's now back in the fray, and all of the achievements of the past are being undone. And it takes a lot of vision and a lot of courage, which came from His Holiness tonight.
I really thought his speech was thought-provoking. I think he's courageous to criticise Israel and to criticise America. These people are ruining the lives of thousands of children, and I really think His Holiness was brave in saying what he said in the way that he said it, and what he said is true, because what he said about the democracy not existing is true. How many people say that? But he had the courage to say that tonight, and I admire him for that.
I think for me the reflection on the Security Council and the ability to veto is really pertinent. I actually haven't heard anyone else speak about that recently, and how can we develop the UN to be more instrumental for peace?
I was particularly impressed, and I learnt a lot from the references to the Holy Quran in relation to peace building. And those are messages which people of all faiths and none should follow, certainly can follow and should follow.
His Holiness is a very, very intellectual, intelligent person who has analyzed the world situation very carefully, and his analysis and his conclusions are absolutely right. The only way to peace.
And I think he reflected that very well about how the United Nations is structured, about how America can effectively veto so much. And if we're going to get to peace, it needs to be a fair and just settlement on both sides. It can't just be fair and just for one side. So I think what he said was absolutely, perfect, and it would be something which I think Western countries find difficult to actually enact, but I think many in their hearts would absolutely agree with it.
I think what I liked about the speech was that I think he faced the issues head on, and I thought that it was insightful, and I thought that part of it that I liked is that he was also talking about how wars should be conducted in an ethical way. And I thought for me that was a realistic approach, meaning that he acknowledged that there will be conflict sometimes, but that there is a way to try to manage it, to make it better and to last less.
I thought that His Holiness's address was extremely powerful. It was really a tour de force of all the challenges that we're facing across the world in areas of conflict, and the severe humanitarian impact that's having, the lives being lost, the areas that are being devastated, and the choices that we could try and make differently, and how that is all connected to a wider view and more strategic view we should have of geopolitics.
What I found is that his concern for his community and the persecuted in his community is very big concern. He is a very gentle religious leader, which is not always the case. A real gentleman, and he somehow expresses empathy. That's what I understand a religious leader should be like.
Very impressive, and I was very excited, but he's such a nice person, and so such a warm person, and he welcomed us so friendly, and it was really nice.
I was surprised that His Holiness is really a nice person with sense of humor. When he asked how we feel about the whole event, I said that I have just one complaint, that we were spoiled by your hospitality. and he was laughing, and then we changed also some another jokes. And I think this is the best way, because the Ahmadi community is persecuted in the world, but the approach of your community and His Holiness is to turn to the others and to try to help them and to restore peace, which is the best way. For me, Ahmadiyya community is an excellent example. If all the religious community would follow the path, we have paradise here on earth.
It's a beautiful feeling, a feeling of peace, that somebody is here looking after us and somebody up there is looking after us. It's an extremely wonderful feeling, and I'm very honored. We are coming with a message of peace from Switzerland, which is again met by a message of peace by His Holiness. And I think that was beautiful, expressed yesterday by His Holiness' speech about uniting the world in peace, and a very clear message to the politicians to see above their own interest, but of the interest of the whole world.
His smile is so comfortable. Make you not unknown. You know, you feel like in your home, like with your friends.
It's been a very warm meeting. His Holiness is a person that transmits a sense of peace, and I am very pleased to have been here and meeting so clever, so peaceful person. The speech of His Holiness is a very inspiring speech, and he's a very strong person, because he has denounced the paper of United Nations. And I am thinking deeply about what he said yesterday.
It was really an enriching meeting, because we could talk about United Nations Security Council and about the problems that we are facing as a global nation. We should come all together, and I'm also convinced, just like the Caliph, that we should change the world system. And it was also beautiful to see that he also mentioned also not only Palestine, but also the problems in Sudan, the problems in Ethiopia, the problems that the world is facing. So we need a sort of world authority. And as the Caliph is saying this to the people and to the world, that we need to change the system to make a better world for everyone. A world with no hate and more love, the principles of the Ahmadiyya. So it's really nice to see that the Caliph is bringing this message around the world, that the people can hear this message. You have to be very courageous to do it. Not a lot of political leaders dare to do it. He, as a religious leader, is a real leader. Because I think if you are really spiritual, if you are really religious, you also want to change the world, you want to make it a better place for everyone to live. So I'm happy that he is bringing this fantastic political and religious message to the world. So having this conversation with the Caliph makes me really happy.